No matter which way you set up your Microsoft 365 architecture, you're forced into an awkward dilemma. No one likes managing multiple tenants. Managing multiple tenants doesn't just come with operational overhead. It comes with big security risks. Trying to stay on top of the tens of thousands of configuration elements in just one tenant is a nightmare. Trying to do it across multiple tenants is almost impossible. Multiple tenants also create huge visibility gaps. After an incident, how easy is it for you to figure out what happened and in which tenants? And finally, for a multi-tenant organization, you have to deal with the issue of cross-tenant access. Exactly the issue which pulled the rug out from underneath Microsoft themselves when they were attacked in the Midnight Blizzard breach. The trouble is that consolidating tenants comes with its own unique risks. Yes, it's slightly easier operationally, but firstly, you have to deal with the fact that a misconfiguration now affects your whole production environment. And as well as this, tenant downtime doesn't just affect a portion of your business, it affects the whole thing. But there's another huge challenge that organizations face when they try and consolidate tenants, and that's the lack of segmentation. In a recent survey we ran with 270 IT leaders, 79% of them cited the lack of segregation capabilities in Microsoft 365 as being a primary roadblock preventing them from consolidating tenants. So what's going on here? Well, think about your Microsoft 365 tenant like a house. When you get a key to the front door, you get a key to the whole property. Microsoft 365 tenants are like this. Yes, I can give someone a specific role, but that role, by default, has tenant-wide access. Now, this is uncomfortable for small IT teams, but for organizations that have 500, 1,000, or even tens of thousands of users, the sheer scope of this access becomes an unacceptable security and compliance risk. It means that just one privileged account compromise would be game over because the attacker would immediately get tenant-wide access to critical assets. The thing is, when it comes to sharing houses, we actually have a really clever model. You can operate on a principle of trust when you're sharing a house with 4 or 5 people. But when you've got 10, 20, or 30 individuals, it's time for some segmentation. And that's why we have apartments. We create boundaries within the house so that many people can share a space safely and securely. The fundamental problem is that Microsoft doesn't provide the granular level of segmentation that organizations require in order to live securely and safely when they consolidate their tenants. And this is the tenant dilemma. Essentially what this means is if you have an IT manager in Argentina who has an Intune admin account, they can not only manage the device compliance policies of their own users, but they could go change, augment, and delete any Intune device compliance policies around the globe. And you don't have to be a genius to realize that this goes against the principle of least privilege. So this is the tenant dilemma. Nobody wants to deal with the security risks of managing multiple tenants, but consolidating tenants leads to its own existential risks. So what should we do? Well, this is why analysts like Gartner have recommended that Microsoft 365 organizations look at virtual tenant segmentation. Virtual tenants allow you to create unique segments with administrative boundaries inside of a tenant so that each administrator only has access to what they need and no more. This protects the principle of least privilege. No one should be forced into an impossible security trade-off when they're using Microsoft 365. And here's the good news. Using virtual tenant segmentation, you won't be.